Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Are you feeling charitable? Then smash the subscribe button and the like button. And please do follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Man. And welcome to Wednesday's edition of the DCEU Daily. What happened on November the 17th, 2019 was so fundamentally about more than getting Zack Snyder's Justice League released, getting the Snyder Cut finally released after our efforts for nearly 3 years. What happened that day with that Twitter event with Gal Gadot hashtagging release the Snyder Cut and Ben Affleck and so many other people, including us fans. And what did we get? Were we trending at 1 million tweets? I don't know. It was massive. What that showed AT&T and Warner Media wasn't just that they said, for bloody hell, we better release this movie. This is going to be good business for our new streaming service, HBO Max. No, they said, this has got to be about more than that. We can do more. We can have Zack Snyder's Justice League exclusive to HBO Max as a miniseries. We can have Justice League 2 exclusively on HBO Max as a miniseries. And Justice League 3 and whatever else Zack Snyder wants to do within the DCEU. Do you really think, if it wasn't for that successful day on November the 17th of last year, Ben Affleck will be in the Flashpoint movie? Of course not. These are all fundamental domino effects that have happened. And it's great for us in the fandom. We fought so much. We lost so much. We had so much pain. So many people trolling us and triggering us, but now the good times are here because Zack Snyder is in a much more powerful position now than he was originally with Man of Steel and BVS, because now it doesn't matter what the critics and the haters say because he's actually got the studio, the company on his side. And as I predicted from the moment all this was announced, all his content will probably release exclusively to HBO Max. That gives Zack a lot of protection and a lot more creative freedom. Now, who's familiar with the Faruqi brothers? I think we all know they're very prominent DCEU fans and Zack Snyder fans. Now, Shiraz Faruqi used to be a freelance journalist, and I've read some of his articles from Screen Rant before. Well, now he's going to be an exclusive Forbes journalist on the movie section. Now, this is massive. Imagine Forbes having a biased Snyder fan on their books. Why do you think they've done that? Because they know Zack's back. They know he's going to be making more DCEU content. So let's have a look what Shiraz Faruqi has to say. Really good journalist, by the way. Zack Snyder's Justice League could be a boon for Warner Media, HBO Max for years to come. Let me repeat that. Zack Snyder's Justice League could be a boon for Warner Media, HBO Max for years to come. Zack Snyder's Justice League might only be a year away, but the potential for the franchise goes much deeper. Coming off of its debut trailer during DC Fandom, fans around the world finally got their first formal look at the project they've been fighting for. The trailer for the new HBO Max miniseries dominated social media as fans celebrated the achievements of its impending release. It seems clear that from the moment AT&T and Warner Media agreed to release the Snyder Cut in November 2019, they set themselves up for a major win. The numbers behind 2017's Justice League paint an important picture as to why AT&T could strike gold with the Snyder Cut. After the release of Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice underperformed critically, Warner Bros. Responded with mandates to make the sequel more appealing to wider audiences. This included a strict 2-hour mandate and a focus on a lighter tone. After completing principal photography on Justice League, Zack Snyder departed from the project following a family tragedy. Following his exit, WB doubled down and hired Avengers director Joss Whedon to turn the film into a Super Friends-style comedy, complete with mustache gate Henry Cavill. Sounds terrible when you describe it like that. It's pretty bad already, though, isn't it? By the end of shooting, the film's production cost ballooned to an estimated $300 million. A huge chunk of that cost was in massive and puzzling reshoots, which didn't pay off at the box office. The film fizzled, only earning $658 million worldwide, less than both of its Snyder-directed predecessors. In Man of Steel, $668 million, and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, $872 million. Since then, fans have been clamouring for the Snyder Cut, and now they're getting it. In May, Zack Snyder formally announced that the Snyder Cut will be coming out. Snyder Cut will be coming out as Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max in 2021. During a Man of Steel fan screening, the miniseries would house absolutely zero footage of Whedon's work. This Justice League project will be pure Zack Snyder, with the director driving the point home during a fan-driven Justice Con. Even that, there will be no chance on earth that I will use shot prior or after I left the movie. I would destroy the movie. I would set it on fire before I would use a single frame that I did not photograph. That is a fucking hard fact. It's interesting though when these know-nothings do these trailer reactions and they say, oh, I saw this in the theatrical cut. No, you didn't, because when the Justice League are standing together, Whedon literally reshot that. You can tell in this. Watch it behind me. They're actually standing in a different diagonal way. It's totally different, and you've got the flying fox there too. It's totally different. In the Justice League, they're standing together at the end. I don't think that's shots at the end of the movie. That's just what I believe. I could be wrong. In a report by The Hollywood Reporter after the announcement of the Snyder Cut on HBO Max, sources placed the cost to finish the VFX on the cut would be in $20 million to $30 million range. In an interview with the Recode Media podcast in May, former Warner Media chairman Bob Greenblatt commented, from the budget for Zack Snyder's Justice League is higher than the $30 million number in reports. I'll just say I wish it was just $30 million and stop there. It's an enormous undertaking and a very complex Greenland stated. Very complex Greenland stated. So it looks like what Snyder actually had was a cut of a movie that needed work to it, needed finishing off, needed polishing off. That still means there was a Snyder Cut, but it just wasn't ready to show. He showed it. He polished it up a little bit for his friends and his cast members to see it, but it wasn't ready for public consummation, if you like, consumption. So still the number is a far cry from the cost most modern blockbusters require to produce, which helps to explain why it is already a win for AT&T. To put it plainly, Warner Media would have a $300 million plus miniseries on their hand, one that the old regime at Warner Brothers had sitting in the vault collecting dust for the relatively small refurbished cost of $30 million to $60 million. Do you remember when the pundits and the critics told us there's no way Warner Brothers would spend the money to finish this movie off because it wasn't worth their while? In comes Jason Kilar and Warner Media and AT&T, and they said, hold my beer, because we can make a lot of money about this, from this, and it's not just from the Snyder Cut. It's the other episodes of these miniseries, Justice League 2 and Justice League 3. That is where the potential is as well. Couple that with the streaming wars, with studios are spending, notification, let me start again. With studios are spending money like it's a game of Monopoly, just to get the slightest edge. And HBO Max is the perfect home for the DC project. HBO Max needs a crown jewel of its own to compete with the likes of Disney Plus and Netflix, Hulu and others. And the Snyder Cut fulfills that not just for 2021, but possibly beyond. The numbers aside, the fans also make up a huge part of the story. After all, there will be no Zack Snyder's Justice League without the release of the Snyder Cut movement. From petitions to pushes on social media this past November on the 2-year anniversary of the original film's release, the Snyder Cut trended higher than any film in WB history, with over 1 million tweets. I was right. Over 1 million tweets, though, worldwide. They've made their voices heard. Of course, it goes beyond November the 17th of last year. We were going at this for a long time, but finally, after that day, they knew we were here, and the decision was made to talk to Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's Justice League will be released as a 4-part miniseries in 2021. The format is a smart choice, helping both Snyder and HBO Max as it keeps viewers engaged on the platform, but also keeps Justice League as a topic of conversation. AT&T and Warner Media likely would not put in any investment if it was simply a one-time deal. On the contrary, if Zack Snyder's Justice League takes off as expected, there is always room for more. I think there is going to be more. I think we will get Justice League 2 and 3. I think Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut, will finish with a cliffhanger. The average Game of Thrones episode had a production budget in the 10 million to 15 million range. Now let's apply this to the Justice League. Superman, Batman and Wonder Woman alone have an IP value higher than most in entertainment. Throw in the bonus of having Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller, each with major roles on the theatrical side of Warner Bros. Pictures, creates extra energy between the brand. Henry Cavill's Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman continue to prove they are fan favourites, routinely trending on their own. Each one of these actors have spoken highly of Zack Snyder, with a source pointing out that they would do anything for the director, and that doesn't surprise me, by the way. Having a dedicated miniseries for Snyder's vision and these core group of characters could give HBO Max a solid edge in the streaming wars. Zack Snyder has strongly teased that his complete vision exists as a 5-movie arc. After the Snyder Cut is translated into a miniseries, that still leaves the last 2 parts of Snyder's Justice League story up for grabs. Pending that all the actors agree pending that all the actors agree Warner Media should jump at the chance of having potentially 2 more seasons of Justice League, specifically for HBO Max. For Marvel fans, imagine having Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans on Disney Plus for their own Avengers series. Exactly, it will be liquid gold. Zack Snyder's Justice League will be out in 2021, and if fans show up to watch this, which we will, the way they campaign for it, they should be enjoying more of the Snyderverse for years to come, and the director can show them just how deep his DC Comics rabbit hole goes. Wow! Wow, wow, wow. What Mr. Faruqi, take a bow. What a great article. Of course, it's not just Mr. Faruqi's been saying this. By the way, the Faruqi brothers do have a lot of information. They've been telling us on Twitter for ages, whenever they get a chance, that there's a lot more to come. You know, these are the happy times for the Snyderverse fans of the DCEU. We're going to get so much Snyder content already. Batfleck's going to be in Flashpoint. We should be getting a Cavill Superman announcement very, very soon. Probably DC Fandom Part 2. Could be before. Nobody knows. But this just confirms the confidence in journalists in the know, talking about the future not just being the Snyder Cut, and in fact being more than that, a Justice League 2, a Justice League Series 3, more things that Zack wanted to do after BVS and Justice League as well. It's a very exciting time to be a DC fan, a DCEU fan, or a Snyder fan, because everyone will get what they want with this multiverse strategy, whatever you like. And if you don't like something, you don't have to watch it. But at the end of the day, let's be absolutely clear here. Zack Snyder's Justice League is not just going to be watched by the fans who love him and his DCEU movies. No, there is a situation of intrigue now. This has become a big thing. It's like I said on a video on Twitter yesterday, right? He's the most talked about director in the world. The DCEU, whether you love it or hate it, you are constantly tweeting about it. All of a sudden, the DCEU is hot property because it's not just good publicity that sells, it's bad publicity that sells too. All of a sudden, Zack Snyder is dealing with people at Warner Brothers who are confident in him and his abilities. They have now got a multiverse strategy in place where they can show different parts of the DC universe in live action, which means every fan can get a little slice of what they want. But it doesn't just matter what I think. What do you think? Comment down below. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.